Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. We'll be spending the next hour and a half together, what we call the Bootcamp, but lately we've been calling also the Sanctuary. And so this week I'm actually returning to our original form, which is less political, not because I'm not interested in politics, but that I think it's time that we go back and just treat politics like everything else that try to influence us, particularly try to leverage on our negative emotions. So there are things that are much worse than politics, like social media, advertising, all kinds of uh, activities out there for money that take advantage of our negative emotion, be it anger, fear, and whatnot. Anyway, so let's get back to our practice and just treat everything else as a distraction and learn how to deal with the distraction, confront those distractions, but in the end, accept them and then not let that become us. So today we're going to be doing a 1,000-year-old Qigong exercise called Jin Jing, abbreviated as YJJ, and basically means the renewal or exchange of, and the word is actually not tendon, but connective tissue. So it's really talking about the energy that is within us. Um, Let me talk a little bit about what we do here. So what we do here is to what we call the Qigong. Gong means practice. It's really to cultivate the life energy within us. Not so much the energy that we created from the food that we eat, but the energy that actually exists in the universe. More precisely, is the magnetic energy. So this energy could be from the sun, it could be from the other planets, just happen not from the moon. The moon has a tremendous effect on us, but it's really more like gravitational effect, not magnetic effect, because it doesn't have a molten core. Anyway, we talk about the energy, we talk about meridians. That's really coming from the North Indian tradition that talks about nadis, right? But it's very complicated. The North Indian approach is very complicated. When it gets to the China, they simplify it by really understanding how the energy flow within us based on the solar. The sun comes out and the sun sets. So we divide that 24 hours into 12 cycles, and therefore we envision 12 energy lines. And these energy lines can be yin and can be yang. Yin is the absence of the sun. The yang is the presence of the sun. One is energetic, one is restorative. And we divide them into 6 that originate from the fingers that passes through the internal, 6 originate from the toes that also passes through eventually through the internals. When the energy happens to pass through one organ, we name it after that organ. So for example, we talk about the kidney energy, the kidney is right here, but yet the energy originated from the bottom of the feet. It just happens to pass through the kidney. But then more importantly, it's not about the organs, but more about the elements that makes up the yin energy. That is the water, the vegetation, the sun, the soil, and the mineral. And it's that harmony, it's that balance that allows us to be healthy and prosper. There is one energy line that is very mysterious, and it's called the triple warmer. It has no Western equivalent. In fact, it's a little bit of mistranslation because the word in Chinese means focus, heat. So when it's translated into English, it's translated into warmer, triple warmer. But actually, the Chinese word originally means, it's actually used in the old days, the word that we use for the bottom of the pot that cooks the rice. When the rice burns, becomes a membrane. That's the word. So what it really is talking about is the entirety of our internals. And we separate it into 3 sections: what's above the diaphragm, what's below the belly button, and what's in between. And we actually use three words to identify these three chambers. We call that the top one as if they are the fog, right? So you know how important the fog is or the cloud is to our planet. It moisturizes, it gives the nutrients to all the plants on Earth. So that's what they think about the heart and the lung, is that it actually sends the nutrients throughout our body. The middle part, they used the word that meant fermentation. Fermentation. So the digestion is really more about fermentation. That's why the sliver is so important. And I talk a great deal about how if you want to be healthy, you want to make sure that you have lots of sliver. And the reason that you don't have slivers is because you are constantly in the fight flight. That is an indirect way to talk about the cell healing power, is that it all starts with the sliver. The sliver is where the fermentation starts. Then finally, below the belly button, they use another word, and it basically means the sewage. Now, except that that word doesn't actually mean sewage as much as it's just the passing of the waste. It's also about um, filtering and maintaining the nutrients before you pass out the waste. So the kidneys, the small intestines, the large intestines, the bladder, all that is below the belly button. And their job, as much as they are to pass out the waste, is to make sure they retain the nutrient. That's why diuretics is such a bad thing to have. But then, when you don't have a choice, right? When your heart is not working right, and the water is not coming back, it retains in the lower part of your body, then the Western doctor, that the only thing they can do is give you diuretics to force the water out, but then it takes away all your minerals. I want to talk about this thing called the triple warmer. What does it mean? It's very mysterious, but it also is very new, whereas the other are discovered thousands of years ago. This one is only about a few hundred years. It's in the Ming Dynasty. Right? So what does it mean? There's no Western equivalent. Well, what it means is that it actually controls everything that is inside in the upper torso, right? So we divide the organs into yin organs and yang organs. So the triple warmer is considered a yang organ, whereas the heart, the lung, the splint, the liver, and the kidney, they're considered the treasure organs. These are the yin organs that are given to us, the energy that are within them are given to us by a mother when we're inside the womb. And they call the treasure organs because each organ has a particular treasure. For example, the kidney is the what do you call that? Is the mirror? Is the essence? Is what makes the blood, right? And the heart is the mind, right? It's the clarity of the mind and so forth. So they are all considered treasure, right? There's something in them. Whereas the yang organs, they're considered chamber organs, which makes sense. Bladder is a chamber for the urine, is to pass out the urine. The large intestine is a chamber, they're empty, right? To pass out the waste, whereas the small intestines is where the digestions and the fermentations happens. And similar with the gallbladder, similar with everything else. But what does the triple warmer do? What is it? What does it contain? What is it a channel of? Well, this is why it's important. It's the channel of qi. It's a channel of qi. Unlike the urine and the waste, they're visible and easy to understand. The triple warmer is the chamber of qi. It's the entirety of your system. So when you have a balance between the energy inside, then the triple warmer is considered healthy. And when you have blockage on the triple warmer, that's the first sign of sickness. Now, in fact, these days, we have a pandemic actually of cancer, especially among Asian women. And it's not from the external factors anymore. Many of it is from internal factors. It's from their negative emotions, the sadness, the anger, the fear, and all that. And so it causes this harmony in your energy. And you can actually look up a lot of articles that is written about the triple warmer and how it's associated with cancer, right? So today we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be explaining how many of the exercise that we do involves the triple warmer. For example, it actually starts at the index finger at the corner of the nail, and then runs along the index fingers in between the bone. And then at the wrist, there's some energy points, and then runs along the center line of the of the arm. It goes up, and then eventually goes in. It comes back out at the back of the ear where the vagus nerve starts. It runs along the back of the ear, and then it comes down to right in front of the ear loop where we do a lot of massage, and then it ends up at the corner of the eyebrow, right? All right, so you can look this up. I encourage you to do a Google search, or maybe even download a AI app, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini or any kind. And again, don't be afraid of AI. AI stands for artificial intelligence, but there's nothing artificial, and there's something about intelligent. What it really is what I call created knowledge. It just basically goes out and collect all the knowledge that already exists. Some of it is biased, many of it is biased, could be sexist, could be ages, right? But that's what it is. And it just collects all that and it curate it into an article for you to read. So by reading it, you're eventually tapping into all the articles that already exist. And then it's a good starting point for you to learn more. And so one of the key to aging mindfully is to be open to knowledge, open to learning. Every day is the beginning of a new life. And so might as well start learning about what we do here and just not blindly follow. Okay. All right. So enough. I spent 13 minutes already. Okay. So we're going to start doing some massage. Okay. Again, it's not massaging of the muscle, or it's really massaging the energy lines. And so these energy lines, 6 of them starts at the finger, 3 of them inside, away from the sun, 3 of them outside. But there's actually a health benefit in all of them. So let's start with the fingertips. So we take a thumb, right thumb, and just very gently massage the extremity, which are the fingertips. And as you massage, keep in mind that this can be a meditation. This is mindfulness in motion. Even when you're doing massage, be mindful and feel the change in your body. Now, after you're done with the fingertips, you're going to work on the joints. So one joint at a time. So I want you to massage the left, the center, and the right, and then move from one joint to the other. And then when you finish with one finger, move from one finger to the other. And again, treat it as a meditation. Focus on the sensation of the body as you do the massage. So many of us, as we age, we have arthritis. Our fingers hurts, fingers get crooked, right? And so when you actually massage it, it actually hurts a lot. So on the other hand, I don't want you to hurt yourself, but give her a massage, gentle massage, right? And you know how you feel, and so you know how to control your effort, and so just to the point where you feel comfort but not pain. Okay. Now we're done with the yin side. Now we're going to go to the yang side, and this time we're going to start with the fingertips again, but at the corner of the nail. I mentioned the triple warmer that starts at the index finger. Well, you also have the small intestines that starts at the pinky. And so one finger at a time. And now we go from the left to the right, one finger at a time. Just kind of give it a gentle squeeze. And again on the joints, very gently, and as if you're whispering to yourself. As whispering to yourself, say, I'm here. All right. Thank you for being my companion. Sometimes we ignore that, right? We don't understand that Your body is just a vehicle, it's a tool, it's your companion. One finger at a time, one joint at a time. All right, so now we're done. We're moving away from the tip, and we're going to the knuckles. So I want you to take your right thumb, use the edge, and massage in between the knuckle. But I want you to start at if we had a web, it would be at the bottom of the fingers, right? If you were a duck, then you have a web, right? But we don't have a web. But imagine that if there were a web, then you start here and then you go to the knuckle, right? You start here, you go to the knuckle. And now to the right side, same thing. Just use the edge of the finger and massage in between the knuckle, starting at the web, okay? Now we're gonna massage in between the fingers in the back of the hand. So again, you take the right thumb, you use the edge and kind of feed in between. And then same thing on the other side. And sometimes people ask, well, should I use some massage oil? You can if you actually causes pain and you feel that you want to use some massage oil or lotion, that's fine with me. I actually prefer not to use massage oil or lotion because I actually want that friction, and I feel. But of course, if I do it for someone else, I can't sense what they sense. So just on the safe side, I will use lotion. Now, we're now going to do some acupressure, and I want you to go to the wrist and identify these two dimple right here. One of that is the triple warmer. The other one is the large intestine, right? Just feel that. And then just use the thumb, not the fingernail, and just kind of use massage, apply some pressure. And then also at the small fingers, because it comes down, and I want you to apply some pressure here. Similarly, on the thumb, apply some pressure right here, okay? Okay, now on the other side, same thing. And then a small finger, and then the thumb, all right? Okay, now all we have left now is the thumb, the big thumb. So I want you to massage the thumb all by itself. We use the thumb more than we use any other digit. So just massage and massage the other side. Now, I want you to pay particular attention to this part, right? So you imagine like your thumb is like the drumstick. This is the meaty part. So I want you to like use your thumb and the index finger as a pincher and just kind of pinch it, right? Now it turns out that this area here is very important to strengthen your heart, right? You say, well, I thought you said this is the lung meridian. Well, these energy actually crosses. So make it simple. We make it as if the energy just travel by itself. Actually, they travel across. So this one is known to travel across to help with the heart. So this is a very important one, right? And many of you, when you squeeze it like this, you feel like this very stiff, right? Or it's like marshmallow. There's no elasticity. Either one is not a good idea. Okay, so you want to kind of work on this. And my I have a sore thumb for using the mouse too much, so I always have to do this. Now next thing I want you to do, use the knuckle and just kind of do that, and then do that. All right, now we're going to be using this part to do some massage later. All right, okay, now we come to the center of our palm. The center of the palm is the energy line that we name after the pericardium, which is all the muscle that are outside. All right. Okay. Now I want you to use the knuckle and just kind of pressure the center of the palm. Okay. Same thing on the other side. Now this actually is the only energy point of all the energy points in your body. There are about 350 of them that gives out energy. That's why we call it the healing hand. Okay. And just kind of this, like this. And then now I want you to put the palms together and just kind of put it together in a clockwise direction, in the clockwise direction. And then now put the palm on top of the back of the hand. So we are massaging the center of the palm, the back of the hand, as well as the fingers. And now do the other side. So Michi has a comment. She said, I am so disconnected from my body that I feel uncomfortable massaging myself. So I think the connection is the right word. We need to be connected with ourselves, not just our physical self, right? So here we talk like this is all about that massaging is, and it's not about beating our body into submission, say, no, get rid of that pain. No, it's actually the opposite. It's about showing loving and kindness to ourselves. So when you say disconnected, then you're talking about using the right word, because what we want to do here is to be connected. Connected not just to our physical existence, understanding that there's forces in the body. It's the harmony between these forces that allows us to have a healthy existence. But it's also be connected with our spiritual self, right? With our spiritual self. So you're using the right word, right? You're coming from the right place. All right. So now we want to do some finger exercise. There's two sets. The first one is a very well-known Qigong exercise, and it's actually been used to prevent stroke, as well as a physical therapy for people who have suffered from stroke. And the idea behind it is that this is not just fingers. The 5 fingers represent the 5 elements. There are as I said, there are the water, the vegetation, the sun, or the fire in this case, and the soil, and then also the mineral. So in other words, that the fingers represent the 5 elements. They are corresponding to the 5 elements of the internal. And a stroke is when you're inside your is particularly your blood vessel, right? A stroke is when your blood vessel in your brain is clogged, right? So that's inflammation, and inflammation comes from blockage of qi, right? That's a fundamental belief that if your energy flows freely into your body, then it will not inflame, right? Just like if you have water running in your house, the pipe won't rust, kind of like that. All right, so this simple exercise requires that we sit properly. And so we always have to check our posture. And the way to sit properly is to start at the lower part of a spine and slowly walk up the spine. As we walk up the spine, we stretch your spine towards the ceiling. We stretch it as hard as you can. Now, this is a very important exercise, okay? It's just stretching your spine, right? Now, I have 2 dogs, 1 cat in the house. Yesterday, I had 4 dogs and 1 cat in the house. And I noticed that the cat and one of the dogs always stretch your spine, always stretch your spine, right? In fact, yoga, if you practice yoga, right, we have this posture called the downward dog. It's exactly that. It's always stretch your spine. Well, there's reason why you want to stretch your spine. As we get old, our spine, actually not just the spine, all our bones are oxidized, right? As it oxidizes, the inside, the chamber inside the bone get reduced, which means that you have less room to grow your marrow. And so you have less blood flow. That's why compared to a younger person, we don't have as much energy, and also we don't have as good of a immunity. And so stretching the spine actually reverses the oxidation, because all bones are piezoelectric. So when you stretch it, it creates electricity. So I want you to try it again. Concentrate on the lower part of your spine and stretch the spine as if you're trying to hang the spine on the ceiling. Stretch it as hard as you can. Now, the next one is important, which is that you want to lean back. Now, as you lean back, you say, oh no, I'm going to fall. Actually, humans, like all mammals, especially humans, we used to walk on all four. So we have a tendency to couch our back like that. And when you do that, you're putting a lot of stress on your back muscle. Okay. So after you stretch your spine, you want to lean back, and you want to get used to the feeling of leaning back. You feel like you're falling, but then forget about that. You're not falling. Just focus on the lightness of your body as you lean back, because you're not using muscle anymore. and then just relax. So now your entire upper torso rests on the spine. Okay. And then the next thing is important is to loosen up the shoulder, because as we get old, as you know, since we were a baby, basically, babies know how to use the diaphragm because the only muscle that they have. As we get old, we tend to not know how to breathe with our diaphragm. So last week we practiced on that. Next week we practice on that. We alternate, right? And so, so what happened is that we're using more and more of the muscle in upper body, right? The lung has no muscle, right? So you become very stressful up here. And so the next thing you want to do after you lean back and relax is to lift up that shoulder. You lift it as high as you can, and then open the shoulder. Feel that as if you're crushing a tennis ball in the back, and then relax. Now, sometimes you need to do it a couple more times. So lift it up, open, and then relax. One more time. Lift it up, open, and then relax. All right. This actually is a Qigong exercise too. Very simple. Now, the next thing you want to do, there's more, is you notice that your neck is very stiff, right? Or maybe you don't because you still get used to it. Now, I want you to lean back the forehead, putting the ears on top of the shoulder, and then you have a collar. The back of the neck should touch the collar. Then I want you to take the chin and tuck it in a little bit. And what you're doing is you're putting this watermelon on top of the pole, the stick, right? So you're not using any back muscle. Now try it again. And this is already a very relaxing exercise. Focus on the lower back, stretch the spine as hard as you can, lean back, relax. Lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder, relax. Lean back the forehead, tuck in the chin. Right? You feel it, right? All right. So now, after you do all that, then we'll come back to the exercise. All right. And the next exercise has more to do with like using the fingers, right? This is a very mechanical thing that we can do. Action equal to reaction. So when you force the energy out, the energy will come back. What goes out is called yin. What comes back is what goes out is yang. What comes back is yin. So we're trying to force the energy flow in the upper arm. And of course, if you have carpal tunnel, this is a very good exercise. Carpal tunnel is inflammation, right? All right. So before we do that, we're going to learn how to scrape. We're going to learn how to scrape. So we're going to scrape the inside. The center line is the pericardium. I'll have I always have my favorite scraping tool. Use my knuckle. Start at the elbow and go all the way to the wrist, and then come back. That's the center line. This is the pericardium. Now, as you move up, you go all the way to the bone. But before you go to the bone, that is the lung meridian. Same thing from the elbow to the wrist. And now the bone. Remember we talked about there's a lot of cross flow, right? And feel it. Feel to see if you have any kinks. If you have kinks, that means you have blockage. And now on the outside is what we call the large intestines. And then finally, the center is the triple warmer. So start at the wrist, go all the way, and then now scrape the back of the hand, scrape the fingers, scrape the thumb back to the fingers, back of the hand, straighten up in the middle, turn the hand, turn it all the way until you get to the middle. And now the last one is the small fingers, which is the heart, the mind. So there's a section here. There's actually one energy point, but there's actually a section that is very famous for getting a good night's sleep. So do that all the way here. Now it runs along and then eventually it gets inside. And this is the last energy point before it enters the body. So we're going to be working on that. And we're going to be working on this part of the hand, all right? Okay, now the other side, same thing. And inside of the bone, on top of the bone, outside of the bone, and then in the middle, back of the hand, inside, and then along the small fingers. All right. Now, this is probably something very strange to you if you haven't done it before and you're not used to sensation. But once you get used to it, then you realize, oh, my body needs that. My body needs some scraping, right? And the Western scientists, medical scientists, are really started to dig into that, and they start to think that, well, there's a lot of cells underneath the skin that when you activate it, it releases some pain relief, right? That's one way to explain it. The way that we explain it in the Chinese medicine is that you're just clearing the energy path. And when you clear the energy path, it's as if you clear your own plumbing, and this is a communication, and and your body will feel better. Now, you can get all kinds of scraping tools from Amazon. You can get something like this, which is also good if you just wanted to do some acupressure. I have my favorite. This is the first time I ever show it. And the reason I don't show it is because I use it all the time. It's hidden in the back of my room. I actually have more than one. I have one on my next to my bed inside the drawer. Sometimes in the middle of the night, and I very rarely wake up in the middle of the night. I'm very fortunate in that I typically go to sleep around 11, and then I can get up quickly. I mean, I'll just sleep through the night. But sometimes I get up in the middle of the night and I know why. My hand is kind of warm, and I know that I need some scraping. This is my favorite scraping tool. Right? It was a gift. It was actually designed so it has three edges. The top has a big radius, and then these little corners are sharp, but not to the point where it hurts you. And it just have a smaller radius, and it's great for scraping. So when I don't feel good, I just scrape. I don't do anything else anymore. I just scrape on the triple warmer, and I just do this. You can hear how hard I'm scraping it, and it just feels great. And I scrape here, I scrape on the fingers, scrape on the thumb, and just come back, right? I'm not hurting myself, but I am using force, and you can see that I'm using force. And the key is that this edge is not sharp, so I'm not cutting into my skin. Okay, but you can get something like that. I don't travel with this, right? Because the TSA would not let me. Who knows? I'm a terrorist, so I don't travel with that. I just have a ruler, a hard plastic ruler. That's my traveling scraping tool, and I don't even scrape anything else anymore. Just when I feel there's something not right, and I just and I feel better. I absolutely encourage you to understand this energy line called a triple warmer. Okay. All right. So now we're ready for our energetic exercise. Back to our spine. Lean back. Relax. Lift up our shoulder. Open. Relax. And then now we're going to point all four fingers to the front. Lock the elbow because we want energy, force equal to right? Action equal to reaction, right? So we want to make sure we lock the elbow. Now we're going to point all fingers towards the camera. We're going to bring in our four fingers, all right? And then we're going to hold down with the thumb. We're going to wind up those four fingers as if they're the springs. And we're going to say 1, back, hold it, 2, back, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so this one clears the yang channel, clears the yin channel. If you're authorized, not authorized, if you have a carpal tunnel, do this. Right. There's another thing that I noticed is that, for example, when I go travel, I'm stuck on the plane for 13 hours or whatever, flying all the way to Japan or Asia, and I'm not moving my body as much. I can try to get up and stand on my toes as I wait to get into the bathroom. But it's very limited. I can't do too much. And what I find is that if I just do this, I am sending energy through my body, and I just feel a lot better, right? That's a problem when you practice Qigong, is that you become so sensitive, so connected. All right. Okay. All right. Katie, I'm not sure you the stroke therapy. Oh, wait a minute. I skip a whole bunch. Oh my God, I skip a whole bunch. Talking too much. Let me get back. Rewind back to the finger exercise. I skip a whole bunch of finger exercise. I am too excited, right? All right, so let's get back. I was going to come. I was going to start with the posture and then do the finger exercise. Let me get back to that. So come back to the spine, stretch, lean back, relax, lift up a shoulder, open a shoulder, and relax. Now we're ready for the exercise that's well known to prevent stroke because the fingers actually represents, from an energy standpoint, connects to the internals. All right, so it's very simple exercise. We take the thumb and the index fingers, them together, and we squeeze as hard as we can. KD, thank you for that, okay? And then the thumb and the middle finger, and we just squeeze as hard as we can. The thumb and the index finger, and we squeeze as hard as we can. And then the thumb and the little finger, and just squeeze as hard as we can. That's it. Then there's a second part, and we take the thumb, we put that in the middle of the index finger, and we squeeze as hard as we can. Middle finger, and then the index finger, and then the little finger. Okay, so that's the one I missed. I skipped because my brain wasn't. I was getting too excited about talking about the triple warmer. All right, so the next exercise. Let's not skip this one. This is my favorite. This is the one that connects our fingers to our brain, particularly the left brain and the right brain. Okay, and there's two reasons for that. One is that the evolution of our entire species start with the finger. So the more you exercise the finger, the more chance that you will retain the health of your brain, your neurological system. Each animal evolved differently. Humans with the fingers were the first. We still basically the only one that we know how to use fingers. Not entirely true anymore, right? We've seen how monkeys can crack open a coconut, right? So we know that they're evolving, but humans evolve fingers, okay? And so we're using fingers to maintain our neurological health, but also we're using one hand at a time to get the left and the right brain working. Now, I'm going to have to control my time because we want to get to our meditation. Our meditation is the practice called wandering dragon chasing the pearl, right? And this one actually evolves the chamber in between the left brain and the right brain. Okay, so there's basically two membrane. One is the diaphragm, and one is to separate the left brain from the right brain. And dementia, right? People who have dementia, such as my father, the first thing that happens is that they lose balance because they can't control the left brain and the right brain. So this exercise does that. It's my favorite. All right. Once again, stretch, lean back, relax. We're going to bring our right hand up using a left brain. We're going to close your eyes. So we actually are controlling our fingers with the brain. We're going to close our fingers one at a time. First the thumb, then two fingers, then the index, then the little fingers. We're going to bring down a right hand, bring up a left hand. So we're using the right brain. Thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. We're going to bring both of them up, squeeze as hard as we can, leave the right hand, open the fingers in reverse order, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Left hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Bring it back up and stretch as hard as you can. Now, at this point, I want you to say to yourself, that was the first one, now on to the next one, right? Make sure that your brain is not wandering off somewhere. All right, now continue. Thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Left hand, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Squeeze. And then right hand, open it, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Stretch. Once again, say to yourself, that was the second time. One last time. Thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Squeeze as hard as you can. Open the right hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Left hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Stretch as hard as you can. All right, that was it. That was it. So that's just one. There are many exercises like that exercise the hand and the brain and one fingers at a time. Just things like that, right? It can get very complicated. All right, so this is where we go to the scraping, we go to the finger exercise, and now we come back to the what follows the finger exercise to this one, opening and then relax. Taking your fingers, this is called the lotus hand. We take the index fingers and middle fingers and the thumb, put it together. We stretch out the other three. We put the lotus hand in front. We open it again. All right. Now, if you can, to the rotate your hip forward and lean back, so you feel the pressure on your kidney. All right. And now back of the hand facing the camera. Get ready. One, back of the hand facing camera. Lotus hand again. Open that shoulder. Get ready. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Now this one is very good for frozen shoulder. Frozen shoulder is another form of inflammation, right? And so you're sending energy through the triple warmer to the shoulder, clearing the channel. All right. Okay. So now we're working towards the top of the head. Notice that we're doing full body massage, right? Now it comes up in the neck. This is where the energy line that we name after the gallbladder. All right. Now, gallbladder and liver are one pair, and they have a lot to do with wind. Wind is what we use to explain nerve. So this two energy point here is very important. So I want you to find these two dimple and just kind of massage it. This is a wind, the pond of wind, right? Massage, 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 massage. All right. And then use the thumb to press in and then lean back and feel the pressure as if you're squeezing the water hose. And then relax. All right. Now take your right hand, put that underneath, right? This is one of the energy point for the triple warmer and also happen to be the beginning of the vagus nerve. So I want you to massage that and then just kind of pull it across. And then same thing on the other side, massage, and just kind of massage across. Now take the right hand, put that on top of the ear and just glide down the skull. Same thing on the other side. Glide down the skull. Now I want you to massage these two energy points that are on top of the bone. So they're in the middle and just kind of use your thumb. You feel like there's a lot of stress there. So those of you who have a hard time falling asleep or your quality of sleep is not good, you might want to learn to massage these two. Okay. Now I want you to massage the neck by squeezing those two energy points together. And then to the middle, there's two more. And then all the way down here, there's two more. Okay. All right. So now I want to massage the side of the neck. We make use a knuckle, lift up the ear loop, and just kind of scrape. Just kind of scrape like this. You can also use the edge of your index finger. Either way is fine. Okay. Now I want you to massage the top of the shoulder, the back of the shoulder. You feel that there's like dimples, right? Like, and then all the way around, wherever there's cavity, you just want to massage. Okay. There's a new style of massage called fascia massage. Right? Fascia comes from the Greek word myofascia. It's a connective tissue between the muscle. Right, all the way around, all the way around. Okay, all right. So now we're to the front. Okay, so back to the center of the arm. And Tanya, you're not going to be able to keep up because you're probably new here. And I try to find the balance between the new student and the old student. But just keep in mind that it's recorded on YouTube, Facebook, and today actually started recording on Patreon as well. Okay. All right. Just be patient with yourself. All right. Now I want you to form an empty hand. Put that in front of your eye. Sit up straight. Now open your eyes, see if you see darkness. If you see light, then I want you to move the fingers around so you don't see light. All I want you to see is darkness. Okay? Now come back and then put that on your eye. Now, second time. Second time, you're going to feel some warmth because you're now adjusting to the darkness. The darkness is the infrared. Back. One last time. Okay, now I want you to use your hand to massage the forehead, massage the face, and then massage the side of the face, and then use the center of your eye, put that on top of your temple, and massage your temple. Now I want you to learn to massage some of the stress points. One is in between the eyebrow, in between the eyebrow. The other one is the beginning of the eyebrow, on top of the eyebrow. Those are all stress points. And then in right here, where they comes into a point. And now I want you to massage the forehead. And now I want you to massage your brain. Understand that you have essentially 3 brains. This one is your cognitive function, the brick brain. The back is your memory. The lower part is your motor function. And I want you to really be like the whisperer to yourself and show the gratitude to your body, your travel companion. And then now massage the top of the ears, back to the face, back to the fingers. And just grab each of the fingers and just kind of rotate it like this. That's why we call it boot camp, right? You're not going to survive the boot camp the first time. It's by design that you don't survive boot camp, right? Okay, now we're going to start with the eye, okay? Now you take the index finger, you put it in the beginning of the eye and push down with the tip and not fingernail, okay? Now sit up straight, use a little bit of force in your neck and then relax. Now there's 3 energy points on the eyebrow, so I want you to put the index fingers in between the eyebrow and just kind of squeeze the eyebrow as if you're squeezing the toothpaste. And so you're doing 2 things. One is that you're massaging those 3 energy points, but also putting some pressure on the oil tubes that come down to your eye. So as we age, our oil tube get blocked, and so our eyes get dry because there's no oil. Okay, now you take your right thumb, you put that at the corner of your eye, you kind of go across. Okay, so this one is called the bright eye. This actually controls the pressure in the eyeball, and these 2 are mainly for cosmetic. It promotes collagen. Okay, now I want you to take the index finger, put that at the corner of your eye, a little bit of pressure, sit up straight, close your eye. We're going to do some eye yoga. I want you to rotate your eyes upward and looking at the ceiling. I want you to go to the right as far as you can. I don't want you to have lazy eye, okay? I want you to go down as if you're looking at the floor. Close your eye. I want you to look to the right, left, and then come back to the top. Now we're going to go clockwise, okay? Up, right, down, left. Up, right, down, left. Up, right, down, left. Back to up. We're going to go counterclockwise. Up, left, down, right. Up, left, down, right. Up, left, down, right. Open your eyes. Very bright. It's called the bright eye. Okay. Now take 2 fingers, get the corner of the eye, go outside the nose to the corner of the mouth. Second time. And then third time. Now take index finger, put that right below the eye bag, put some pressure, put it outside the nose. This is called the welcome fragrance. This is for your, what is that called? And then massage the neck. And now we're massaging the ears. So ears, we separate into 3 parts. Put the thumb on the upper part, index to all 4 fingers in the back, the middle one, and then the lower one. And then massage the tip, yank, massage the edge, massage the ear loop, yank. Now, These two energy points is part of the triple warmer. So put your index finger here and the thumb in the back and massage both your index fingers and you're using your index fingers and your thumb. Okay. Now we come to the back of the ear. We take a thumb, we massage the back of the ear on the fold, right? And then we take two fingers. Now we're coming back to the triple warmer, right? This finger's on the triple warmer. And then massage. Now on the other side, massage. And then massage. And one final thing is called the drumming of the ear. So we sit up straight, we take hands, we put it behind, we close the ears, we stretch the ears, and then we go 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that was fun, right? Wasn't it? Okay. All right, so now we finally get to the top of the head. Top of the head has an energy point called the 100 meters. This is where all the yang energy come together. And this is particularly good too for the brain, right? I use this all the time to temporarily restore the memory for my mom, for my dad. Okay, it was a very good one. And to the point where as I tap, he actually moves around because he knows where it feels comfortable. So how do you do that? Well, you go back to your friend, you stretch your spine, lift up your shoulder, you lean back, you open your shoulder, relax, and you lean back the forehead, you tuck in the chin. That way, you put this energy point on top of your central nervous system. Then you take 10 fingers, you put that straight down, okay? And you tap as if you're playing an instrument. Get ready? 30 times, go. Now you take your fingertips and you comb your hair once, not fingernail, okay? 2 and 3, and then put that above your ear. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. All right. So now we're ready to tap the rest. And this energy point here is part of the gallbladder energy point. This energy point here is part of the lung energy point. This one I call it the well on the shoulder. This one I call the gate to the cloud. So stretch your spine, open your shoulder, lean back, relax. Now, one of the exercises is to turn your head, turn your neck exercise. So you turn your head to the right, you bring up your right hand, you make empty hand, you put that on your shoulder, fingers on top, palm in the front. You use your left ear and you tap to energize, to excite it, right? Not to beat it into submission. So imagine you're playing the drum, you're listening with your ear, left ear. Get ready? Wake up, continue. And then now you do the other side, stretch, open, lean back, relax, turn your head to the left, bring up your left hand, empty hand, fingers on top, palm in front, listen with your right ear, get ready, wake up, continue. Okay, all right, so we're going to continue. We're going to continue. And before we tap some more, we're going to do some massage. And mainly, we're going to be focusing on what's called the longevity cavities. Eye is one, back of the ear is another. The belly button is the third. So we take our hand, we could use both hands if you want, or just one. And we're going to rub around the belly button. Okay. Or you can use two hands, it's up to you. And I just use one hand to hold down my shirt. Otherwise, you see my inside my stomach. Now we're going to go a bigger circle. This is really around the large intestine. So those of you who have, um, what do you call that? Constipation. Constipation basically has to do with qi, right? You just don't have enough qi in your body to really, um, basically, it's the movement of the intestine. Okay, so massage that. So make that a habit of massaging the belly button and then massaging around. Okay. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to massage this cavity. There's another longevity cavity that happens to be where the heart meridian enters into the body, but it's also where the lymph nodes are. So I'm going to ask you to use this part, right? Remember that drumstick part? Remember this energy point is good for the heart. So we're going to do two birds at once, massaging this one as well as this one. Massage, and then the other side. And then massage the elbow, and then massage the elbow. Okay. All right, now all the way around, right? So there's another longevity cavity. Some people said that it matters whether you go clockwise or counterclockwise. Some people say that if you have constipation, is clockwise. If you have diarrhea, it's the other side. And I don't know firsthand since I have neither. But I do know that this is good. My mom, since she was in the hospital, tend to have constipation. So I just asked her to do this. Okay. All right. So we're going to do some more tapping. So the question is, what does the tapping? What is drumming the show? What is drumming or tapping? What does it do? It's to energize the energy lines. All right. So we're going to tap this one now, or drum this line now. So we're going to take the elbow. We're going to put that on top of the head. We're going to sit up straight like this. So we're stretching this part. This one is actually part of the heart or the mind. Okay. Now we're going to grab slightly the top of the ear. Okay. And then we're going to turn the head to the right. We're doing what is that called? Contortion, huh? We're going to take the right hand, empty hand, going to put that on the armpit. We're going to tap it by listening with the left ear. Get ready? Go. Wake up. Continue. And now we're going to do the other side. Sit up straight, pinch the left ear, turn your head to the left, left hand, empty hand, right ear. Get ready? Wake up. Okay. Now, finally, the last one for the upper torso. And then we're going to lock the elbow. We're going to take the right hand, empty hand, fingers on top, palm on the side. Lift it up. Listen with the left ear. Get ready. Wake up. Continue. And the other side. Left hand. Wake up. Continue. Okay. Now, this is a very common observation is that if you're here for the first time or even in the first few times, one of the reaction is that all of a sudden you yawn or you want to fall asleep. Well, I guess what? That's the reason is because you're so stuck on the fight or flight. Your body is full of cortisol. It would never go to sleep because the melatonin that you need to relax and sleep, it would never appear. So your body is under stress. And when you're here, you're doing all these exercise, but also if you're following what I said, which is you listen with your ear, you feel with your hand, That's meditation. That's mindfulness. Mindfulness just means that you know where your mind is. So what happened is that you're focusing on your body. You're now actually, even when you're moving, you're actually in rest and digest. So you have a lot less stress hormone, and all of a sudden you feel like you want to go to sleep. I do the first hit first because I want to wake you up. Because I know most of you are I want to go to sleep. So I always make this thing go wake up, right? Like that. Okay. All right. So now we're moving to the lower part of the body. We're going to start with the inside. We're going to work on the outside. Keep in mind that the inside is yin, away from the sun. So there are two energy lines that appear here. One is the one that we name after the splint. Now, the splint and the liver is very important. This is actually the soil element. So just like when you grow vegetable, the soil does two things. It's transformation, meaning that this is a place where you take nutrients and break it down into something that you can, oh, yeah, okay, splint. All right, so the energy point here is very important. So you start at the knee, you go 3 fingers, and it's right here. Now you can press it, you see soreness in here, okay? So we're gonna use this energy point, okay? And empty hand, empty fist 30 times. Get ready, go. Continue. In the middle. Okay, now close your knee, work on the outside. Take 2 energy points. And again, these two are famous for reducing your chance of having a stroke because it clears the channel so you have less inflammation. Get ready? Go. Second one. Okay, so 2 energies, that's part of gallbladder. So this is 2 energy point above the knee, and then 2 energy points below the knee. Okay, now first you find the knee, then on the side, you can either do it this way. You can go up until you cannot go up anymore. Those are the 2. Now this is a very famous one, and it's to improve your immunity. Get ready? Go. Okay, now make sure you use this energy point, right? Now in the middle. Now this one is the gallbladder. The gallbladder and the liver is one pair. The liver actually is responsible for your eye. So this one is also called the bright eye. Get ready? Go. Okay, now there's one more energy point. If you go all the way to your ankle, you measure 4 fingers up. This one is called the hanging bell. It's like you hang the bell on the cliff, it rings. So when you tap this one, you will feel some tingling on your fingers. Now keep in mind that this is a gallbladder. Gallbladder and liver is one yin yang pair. And the liver, later on we'll get to that, runs between your big toe and the second toe. If you know anyone or if you yourself have gout, it usually happens in the big toe. Gout is very serious. It's the precursor to a stroke. Okay? All right. So you will feel some tingling there. So this is good to clear the energy. Get ready? Go. Okay, most people think that, oh, gout, That's just because my diet is bad. I'm having too much protein, too much seafood. The name for gout is arthritis. It's a form of inflammation, a very serious form of inflammation. Okay. Okay, so now the two energy points in the front. Now, this one is the one that we name after the gallbladder. This one is the one that we name after the stomach. So you come to the knee, you measure 4 fingers, you find the bone, it's outside the bone. Okay, close your knee, use this energy point and go front to back, not on the bone, on the edge of the outside the bone. Now, these two are very important for your digestion. Okay, ready? Go. Okay, I meant to say gout, right? I think you know what I'm talking about. Maybe someone can type it out. Gout. This is when you have an inflamed big toe like this. All right. Thank you. All right. Now we measure another 4 fingers and then on the outside. This one is famous for lowering your cholesterol. Cholesterol is also due to inflammation. Okay, all right. So now we come to the toe. Since we massage our fingers, we need to massage our toes as well. So we're going to massage in between. This is the liver. This is the beginning of the liver. And liver fire means that you will wake up in the middle of the night between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So you want to make sure that you massage that. Okay, now we're going to turn it upside down, and then we bent the toe backward. You see this tendon. This is called the longevity tendon. So I want you to scrape that, and then scrape the bottom of your feet, scrape the heel, scrape the ball area, and massage the toes. And then scrape the arch. Okay, first scrape below the bone, then scrape below the ankle, and then scrape the entirety of the arch. Then I want you to scrape between the ankle and the knee. And then I want to get to the bottom of the feet. The bottom of the feet is the beginning of the kidney energy line. It's a very important one. So I want to show you 4 ways, including tapping. One is you use your thumb and you just kind of put that below your ball area and do some acupressure. It's a very important energy point. And then the second way is to use the drumstick and just kind of massage it. Now, this is one of the 8 longevity cavity, right? And then the other way, finally, is use the edge of your palm, that energy point, and as if you're cutting between the ball area, right? And then finally, there's another way, a very good way. This is mandatory. You bend back your toes, you form empty hand, you put the hand on top of the, so the center is touching this, and you tap that 30 times. Get ready? Go. Continue. Okay, quickly, in between. Okay, turn it upside down, and then scrape, relax, toes, arch, and then between the ankle and the knee, and then acupressure, and then massage with the thumb, massage with the edge of the palm, bend the toes backward, tapping the bottom of your feet. This is called a mixing of the water and fire. Get ready? Go. Continue. Okay, all right. So now we're running out of time, so we want to do the Jin Jing exercise as well as the meditation. So we're going to be, we'll need maybe like 5 or 10 minutes extra in case you want to do meditation. Okay, all right. So massage your back where the kidneys are. Massage behind your knee. And then tap that 30 times. Get ready, go. Continue. Okay, so a lot of you have lower back problem. The Chinese medicine perspective is that that's because you have kidney deficiency. So the exercise you can do, besides massaging the kidneys, massage the back of the knee. And also stand on your toes. Stand, hold it, stand like this. We do this on the alternating week. Finally, this is a very important part, is in between. This is the bottleneck for all your chi energy, and it's basically part of your metabolic. This is very, very important. Just massage this area in between. And especially as you age, especially for some of my male students, okay? And this is a very important part as you age. And then now you take your fist, you fit it in between those two cavities. We're going to energize it 30 times. Get ready, go. Okay, now we're ready for the Jin Jing exercise. This exercise is so amazing. It works on all the meridians. Plus, it does two other things. Is that it works on the muscle, and then also it works on the heart. So it combines three things: right? Stretching, muscle retention, and then also cardio. Very good exercise. All right, so we stand with the bottom of the feet, the gushing spring touching the ground. We're going to turn the toes inward, bend the knee slightly, hold it so we're activating the calf. Then we're going to open the shoulder, relax, aligning the well with the spring. Then we're going to lean back the forehead, tuck in the chin, making sure that the 100 meat is facing the sky. Then we're going to take the center of the palm, the chamber of labor, we'll point that to the floor, but we're going to slide it back and we're going to push. But when you push, you make sure that your mind is actually at the center of your palm. So you're not pushing with your muscle, you're pushing with the entirety of your existence, both physical and your spiritual. Get ready? Go. Now, it's very important that you come back to your breath. You put aside all your thoughts. You want to return to the rest and digest, one breath at a time. Second time, open your shoulder. Get ready. Go. Come back to the breath. It's very important. One breath. Two breaths. One last time. Open the shoulder. Go. Come back to the breath. One breath at a time. Now check to see if your mouth is dry or wet. Because if you're truly focusing on your breath with no thoughts, then you're returning to the rest and digest, and the body would activate the saliva gland. Okay, otherwise you don't have the harmony, right? If it's too energetic, it's a good thing because it releases stress hormone, it reduces inflammation in your body. But then if that's all you do, then you lose sensitivity. You have something called a cortisol resistance. So you want to come back and focus and just restore that harmony. Now, the second one is called pointing. Pointing the Wan Tiao. This is the name of the. So we point, we don't touch, we just form this half circle. We bring back the 4 fingers and we imagine 2 buckets of water hanging on a thumb. We lift up the thumb, lifting up the 2 buckets of water, activating both the lung and the large intestine meridians. And then we relax without lowering your hand. Focus on your breath. Second time. Relax without lowering your hand. One last time. And then lower your hand, completely relax. Focus on your breath. Check the inside your mouth. Okay, now the next one is called the beginner's mind. This is how the baby holds the thumb inside the mother's womb. You take your thumb, you put it across, you roll up your 4 fingers, and you just squeeze your fist. Activates both the heart and the pericardium. And then relax without lowering your hand. Second time. And then relax. One last time. And then lower your hand, completely relax. Focusing on your breath. Check the inside your mouth. Then we take a deep breath, putting the fists together. Breathe in. And then relax. Now we're going to take our elbows together. Focus on the back where the large intestines, meridians are. And we're going to crack open the back. Stretch. And then relax. Second time. And then relax. One last time. And then relax. Okay. Now the next one is called fist on top of the head. You open your shoulder, you open your fist, you roll up your fingers, you lock it with your thumb, and you squeeze. This is very cardio. You're actually forcing blood into your heart, and then relax. Let the heart come back. Let the blood come back. Second time, open the shoulder, squeeze, and then relax. One last time, squeeze, and then relax. Okay, now the next one is called stabbing the shoulder. So first you open the shoulder, then you grab 2 daggers, then you point the dagger onto your shoulder and you stab. You feel the tightness in the back of your neck. And then relax. This is about the gallbladder meridian. Open the shoulder again, stab, and then relax. One last time, stab, and then relax. Now, this one is called the cross. This is about the triple warmer. So we're not punching, we're stretching, okay? So you can imagine feeling the trees on both sides. So first I want you to turn the wrists, then roll your fist, take a deep breath, hold your breath and push. And then bang, relax. The word bang means avalanche. After 2 breaths, roll your wrists, roll your fist, take a deep breath, hold your breath and push. And relax the fist. You're pushing all the trees, right? One last time. Relax. Now to the front hanging. Same thing. Lock your elbow. Trees in front. Roll your wrist. Roll your fist. Take a deep breath. Hold your breath and push. And then relax. Second time. And push. And then relax. One last time. And then relax. Now the next two is about the muscle. You lift up, look up, grab the bar, and do a pull-up. And then relax. It's about this muscle. Second time. And then relax. Back to the breath. One last time. And then relax. We continue. This time is about this muscle. I call this ripping the yellow page. You grab the yellow page half by half and you rip it open. And then relax. Second time. And then one last time. Okay, now we swallow. Now, if you don't have any saliva, you're doing it wrong, okay? Collect all your saliva and swallow all the way down here. Check your goat stand, okay? We don't lock your knee, right? Just loosen up your knee. Back of the hand, touching. Straighten up your back. This is actually about the kidney. And we go down without standing up, right? Without locking your knee. Lock your elbow, looking straight down. Squeeze your fist one time. Back of the hand touching. Focusing on your breath. Second time. And one last time. Okay, now the next sequence has to be in a continuous motion. You flip your hand. You breathe in without standing up. You breathe out, empty hand. You breathe in, pointing forward, lower your knee. See that big rock in front of you? Push. Breathe in. Breathe out. Go to do sitting meditation now. We start with the posture. And if you sit on a chair, make sure the bottom of your feet are touching the ground. If you sit like I do, make sure you put some pillows and blankets so you're not using any muscle. You can sit like this. Somebody asked me how should I supposed to sit because it's very uncomfortable when you sit. Then don't sit like this. Sit on a chair with the feet touching the floor. That's enough. You can sit like I do, one in front of another. You can sit like this, which is more typical, or you put two on top. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you don't use the muscle. Also, don't lift up your hand. Rest your hand. Finally, get to the spine. Start the lower part of the spine. Stretch your spine. Stretch as hard as you can. And then lean back and relax. Okay? Bring back your forehead. Tuck in your chin. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyebrow. Close your eye. Relax your eyelid. And then take the tip of the tongue and put it behind you, between the teeth and the roof of your mouth. Now, after we do an energetic exercise like the Jin Jing, first thing you want to do after you adjust your posture is that you want to come back and focus on your breath. You notice that you're kind of rushing when you breathe. So I just want you to whisper yourself, I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. And you notice that your breath slows down, becomes much more calm, which means your mind also slows down and becomes much more calm. Now you're ready to meditate. And we're going to break that down. The first step is just meditate on your belly button. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. I want you to focus on the belly button. And when you know that you're breathing in, I want you to bring the belly button forward. When you know you're breathing out, I want you to bring the belly button back. So what you're doing now is that as you breathe in, you're opening your stomach, lower your diaphragm. As you breathe out, you're closing the stomach, bringing up the diaphragm. That's all we do right now. Okay? That's all we do. So let's sit for 3 minutes, focusing on the belly button. So we're actually going from knowing to anchoring your mind on your belly button. 3 minutes, okay? Okay. All right. So we'll continue. But this time I want you to let go of the belly button. Just feel your stomach as you breathe in. Feel your stomach as you breathe out. You notice that as you breathe in, the stomach opens so slightly. And as you breathe out, the stomach collapses so slightly. I want you to maintain that feeling. Imagine the blacksmith pushing in and out the bellow. And imagine air coming in your nostril as if it's entering into the chimney. Imagine the air going out your nostril as if it's exiting the chimney. This time I want you to focus on the lower part of your spine. And as you feel that you're breathing in, I want you to move from the bottom of the spine, along the spine towards the top of the head. Stretch that spine ever so slightly. And then when you get to the top of the head and your body start to breathe up, then you come down through the forehead, the bridge of the nose, through the tongue. And as you come down, I want you to lean back and then relax. When it gets into the belly button and your body breathe in again, stretch the spine, move up to the top of the head. And when you breathe out, come back, lean back and relax. Let's sit for 3 minutes. The first one is called cultivating. It's called mindful of your breath to cultivate your chi. This one is called mindful of your chi to cultivate your mind. Okay, so we're 5 minutes over time. So I want to take 3 more minutes and introduce you to the next step, which is what we call wandering dragon chasing the pearl. The whole point of our spiritual practice is to let go of the intellect, to understanding the intellect, our brain, is only a small part of our entire intelligence system. Our intelligence actually lies in the spine. It's really more about the sensation and less about the judging. So if you practice the second step with diligence, after a while you feel that you're really at ease with yourself. You feel that your head is cool, your stomach is warm, and all of a sudden you enter into a state of lightness that you haven't had before. Not only that, you feel that the chi, the energy actually arises on your spine on its own. Now it's time to do what's called a wandering dragon chasing the pearl, the purpose of which is to let go of the intellect. So when the energy rises, we call that the pearl. Your mind is the dragon. The dragon has to follow the pearl. So you follow the pearl up, but you don't stay at your head. You let go of your head. You let go of that big brain, as if the dragon sees a cloud on top of the head, and the dragon, which is your mind, enters into the cloud as far up as you can. And then you look down and you see this body. And when you breathe out, the dragon comes back, follow all the way down to the stomach. It feels the warmth of your stomach, lower abdomen. We call that the dantian, the field of fire. The dragon sees that as his home. It likes to rest. You let it rest. You just wait for your in-breath. As soon as your body breathes in again, you come out, you rise, stretch your spine. Don't stop at the head. Go all the way up, as free as you can be. Look back at this body. And when the body breathes out, you come back, you lean back, and you relax. Let's sit for 3 minutes before the end of class. The whole point is to learn to let go of your intellect so you don't judge. You accept things as they are. You don't avoid anything. You confront them. You observe them without your emotion. Just feel it. Let it go. It's not that you don't confront it with emotion. It's that you don't get attached to the negative energy. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, that's the end of class. So I mentioned that today is the first day that I return to a more generic description of a class, less about the politics. And it's not because politics is not important, but then I felt that I have made good use of the last 10 months since the election. First, to bring you to be aware of what's going on around you. And I use things like don't get consumed, right? Don't, if you consume it, it will consume you. All the hate and division that happening out there, if you consume it, it will become you. Second thing that I talk about is how everything that happens actually happens within you, not outside you. Outside is just stimulus. What's more important is how you deal with that. And so the politics was a good opportunity for me to bring that awareness to you. But now is the time to explain that politics is just one form of distraction. We also have social media. We also have advertising. We also have entertainment, right? All of those are there to distract you because they prey on you. They prey on your negative emotion. That is their currency. This is how they actually become successful and profitable. So politics is just one form, right? But it was a good one. It was a good one to bring that awareness. So now we know how to deal with that. But the same thing applies, right? What you consume consumes you. Remember that. All right. So this is the first time that I also go live on Patreon. So I think one of the students says that she goes to YouTube and she's just distracted by the advertising. So hopefully on Patreon, you don't get the advertising. And by the way, I want to thank you once again for all of the donations. As we get towards the end of the year, I would collect everything that is from Insight Timer as well as Patreon. You don't need to pay to join Patreon, okay? You can become a free member. I will collect everything, and then I will. I have sponsors that are willing to do a one-to-one matching. All of that will go to Venue for Qigong, okay? And then now this coming Tuesday, this is an important one. This coming Tuesday at 6 p.m. PST, Dr. Kwok would return and talk about. I believe she's going to talk about anxiety. Okay, anxiety. Last 3 months ago, she talked about the myth of mental health. So this time she's going to drill down and talk about anxiety. So please join. If you cannot join live, just go to the recording. And thanks again to Martha reminding us that everything that we do here is recorded, that we have also a group called the Mindfulness Fellowship. Right? I consider what we do here as traveling, what we do to help each other as fellow travelers, right? Okay, so, okay, 星期一見。Okay, 拜拜。
拜拜，多謝 Dennis 先。
好，多謝大家支持。Okay, 拜拜。
拜。
今日唱。